So Hare Krishna to Prabhu. Now I'll just give a brief introduction about Prabhu. That Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And in 1994, he was introduced to Krishna consciousness at ISKCON Chowpatty. And he served there full time in the ashram for a few years. Then after while in the ashram, along with studying the Shastras, Prabhu was also engaged in university preaching programs and congregation preaching programs. So in ISKCON Chowpatty, he was also a member of the counselor system. In the year 2000, Prabhu started working in the IT industry in Bangalore, where he got introduced to the Bhakti Vriksha system. And since then, Prabhu and Prabhu's wife, whom we know very well, her grace Kalasudha Mataji, they have established several Bhakti Vriksha structure models in Bangalore, Hosur, San Jose, and many cities of North America. So Prabhu is currently working in one of the Fortune 500 companies as a business system principal architect. And in 2005, ISKCON Congregation Development Ministry awarded both Mataji and Prabhu with the Janva Nitai Award and Sita Thakurani Advaita Chandra Award for successfully developing the Bhakti Vriksha system. In 2014, they were awarded the first prize or first place in USA for highest cumulative congregation results. So both Prabhu and Mataji are part of the International Bhakti Vriksha Committee, and their role over there is to share their experience and to share some of the best practices in enhancing and implementing the congregation or community development programs. So they have also traveled to many cities in North America, like also gave a workshop in Singapore, Tokyo, Panama, and also in Sridham, Mayapur, which is the headquarters of ISKCON. So thanks so much, Prabhu, to accept our invitation to take Srimad Bhagavatam session for ICF. And we welcome you. So over to you, Prabhu. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So will we start with prayers and then read verses?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. First Mangalacharan and then the verses.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So should I read the verses or would one of you read the verses?
Yeah, Prabhu. Actually, usually devotees raise their hands and then they read the verses. I'll just share the screen. Chandra Mataji, if you can share the screen, it's okay. Otherwise, I'm sharing right now. Just a minute, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
So, yeah. If someone is reading, please read all the 5 verses together.
Okay. Yeah. So Medhavni Mataji, you can start, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.6.18. Tvacham asya vinirbhinnam vivishurdishnyam ashaddihi amshena romabhi kandum yair asau pratipadyate.
Please read all the verses together, or verses and translations.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When there was a separate manifestation of skin, the controlling deities of sensations and their different parts entered into it. And thus, the living entities feel itching and happiness due to touch. Hare Krishna.
Purport as well, Prabhu.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. For sense perception, there are 2 principal items, touch and itching. And both of them are controlled by the skin and hairs on the body. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the controlling deity of touch is the air passing within the body, and the controlling deity of the hairs on the body is Oshadya. For the skin, the object of perception is touch, and for the hairs on the body, the object of perception is itching. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Sudha Mataji. And then Meenakshi Mataji.
Hare
Next.
Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Medram tasya vinirbinnam swadishyam ta upavishat reta samena yenasa anandam pratipadyate. Translation. Mataji, translation. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the genitals of the gigantic form separately became manifest, then Prajapati, the original living creature, entered into them with his partial semen, and thus the living entities can enjoy sex pleasure. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Meenakshi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Gudam
Hare
pumsu vinirbhinnan mitro lokesha avesat ayunam sena yena sau visargham pratipadyate. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The evacuating channel separately became manifest, and the director named Mitra entered into it with partial organs of evacuation. Thus, the living entities are able to pass stool and urine. Dandat pranams. Hare Krishna.
Sharmila Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hastav asya vinirbhinna indra swarpatir avishat varta yamshena purusho yaya vrittim prapadyate. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thereafter, when the hands of the gigantic form separately became manifested, Indra, the ruler of the heavenly planets, entered into them, and thus the living entity is able to transact business for his livelihood. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Lalita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Padavasya vinirбhinno lokesho vishnuravishat gatya Swanshena Purusho Yaya Prapyam Prapadyate. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thereafter, the legs of the gigantic form separately became manifest, and the demigod named Vishnu, not the personality of Godhead, entered with partial movement. This helps the living entity move to his destination. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu, we had this up till 22.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for this opportunity to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada's my video is seen, right?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Shall
Okay.
I stop sharing, Prabhu?
I mean, whatever you do generally,
Okay.
we can do that. Okay. So thank you for allowing me to share, and also the enlightening purports by Srila Prabhupada that have been given here. Here actually, Srila Prabhupada is mentions in first canto itself, referring to these set of verses in the second in the third canto and second canto, that the universal form is actually imaginary. Here it's explaining how the universal form had legs and it had the hair and the bodily sensation, all of those things. Because of the universal form having these sensations, we are having these sensations now, and we are able to experience these sensations of touch and itching and legs and all these different things. But Srila Prabhupada says this universal form actually is an imagination. In Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 30, he says, Etad rupam bhagavato hyarupasya chidatmanah maya gunair virachitam mahadadbhir atmani. And here the translation is, the conception of the Virat universal form of the Lord as appearing in the material world is imaginary. This is the translation of this verse. It is to enable the less intelligent and neophytes to adjust to the idea of the Lord having a form. But factually, the Lord has no material form. So this universal form is explained just so people, those who have the conception that the Supreme is no form, for them to say, do you see the mountains? Those mountains is the body of the Lord. Do you see the grass? That's the hair of the universal form. And do you see these different tributaries? That is the sweat of the Lord, of the universal form. So universal form is an imaginary form just so that someone who does not understand that God has a form, universal form is a transition for that person to come to the understanding that actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, has a form and has a formless aspect as well. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattva yad jnanamatvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdete. There are three conceptions of absolute truth, which is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And so this is just to explain to people who are Nirvishesha and Shunyavadi. And who is Prabhupada? We say, when our prayers to Prabhupada, we say, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine, one who delivers from Nirvishesha and Shunyavad. Nirvishesha means the Lord has no form. People who have this conception that God has no form, that's Nirvishesha. Shunyavadi are those who consider that ultimately everything is void. And from this void comes the form. So Nirvishesha and Shunyavadi both these misconceptions, Paschatya Deshatarine. Paschatya Desh means Western countries, but what it really means is the Western mindset. Because nowadays, even in Eastern countries, there is Western mindset. So Prabhupada is actually slashing the Western mindset of Nirvishesha and Shunyavad. And there is a very big reason for it. Because in the initial days when we read Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, we hear that initial times Prabhupada would give classes on Bhagavad Gita. Some of the devotees who were hippies a few days before had just started practicing Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada would say that there is this Mayavad Bhashya Sunile Hoy Sarvanash. If you hear to this Mayavad philosophy, your spiritual life will be destroyed. And everyone would be like, Mayavad, who is this Mayavadi? I've never heard of any Mayavadi. That's what all the devotees and the students would say. We've never heard of any Mayavadi. Why Prabhupada is, every class he's going after the Mayavadi? And then after a few months, they realized we are the Mayavadis. We have this Mayavad conception in our minds. We are the ones who are actually thinking that ultimately God is impersonal. Even though we may not explicitly say that, but this impersonal nature is there in each one of us. If we deal with other human beings in an impersonal manner, that is nirvishesha. We are not considering that this person has feelings or this person has a form. Impersonally, we are dealing. Nowadays, the technology is actually making us more and more impersonal. Earlier, in the previous times, for any small things, we used to go to a person. We used to have to go to a person, maybe to a bank, for example, and then you give something, have some personal interaction with the person in the bank. But nowadays, it's replaced with an ATM, impersonal. You just press buttons, and then you get what you need. Very impersonal, because any personal interaction, oh, there is fights and there is disagreements. So remove the person, put a machine. That is all impersonal. That is nirvishesha. That is dealing impersonally. And because of this Mayavad philosophy, because of the impersonal conception of the Lord, it increases our conception of every human being as impersonal. So there are real world consequences of this philosophy. It's not just in spiritual realm that there is our spiritual life will be destroyed. Our relationships would be destroyed as well. It's all dependent. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that this conception of the Lord known as Vishwarupa is not mentioned as one of the incarnations of the Lord, because these incarnations are transcendental. There is no tinge of any materialism in their bodies, but universal form, it's all material. So it's imaginary, actually. So Prabhupada explains, therefore, this Virat Rupa, universal form, is actually conceived for those who are neophyte worshippers. Those who think there are two kinds of nirvishesha or impersonalists. One is a Brahmavadi and the other is a Mayavadi. Brahmavadi, he thinks that yes, there is impersonal Brahman, there is Paramatma, and there is Bhagavan. And Brahman comes from the Bhagavan as the source, but I am attracted to the Brahman. I am attracted to the impersonal Brahman. I'm still not advanced yet to be attracted to the full Bhagavan personality. So what can I do? I know Bhagavan is supreme, but I'm attracted to Brahman. So such people, for them, if we introduce Virat Rupa, is introduced in Srimad Bhagavatam, they can have a transition from Brahman to Virat Rupa, and then they can understand Paramatma and Bhagavan. as that God has some form as well. But then there is the other kinds of impersonalists who are Mayavadis. Mayavadis also think that yes, they worship Brahman, the impersonal Brahman, but they commit the offense of thinking that the source of Bhagavan is the impersonal Brahman. The Brahmavadi thinks source of Brahman is Bhagavan. But here they think, Mayavadis think that source of Bhagavan is the impersonal Brahman. That is an offense. There, whatever you preach to them, whatever kind of thing we give them, Virat Rupa or whatever, it's they will never be able to get it. Their destination is hell. But Brahmavadis, their destination, they can slowly come to Bhagavan realization. Just like Shukadev Goswami. It is said he was a Brahmavadi. He was completely detached from the material world. He was attracted to the impersonal Brahman. But then as he was roaming around after he came out of it, that's why he was not coming out of the womb of his mother. But then eventually when he came out, he immediately left the house of Srila Vyasadeva and his mother and was just roaming around. And there, in one of the fields, he heard someone singing, Aho Pakiyam Stanakalakutam. He was glorifying Krishna as someone who delivered Putana. And this is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Just hearing this, that how Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Vrajema, that I want to take shelter of such a merciful person who gave the position of a nurse in the spiritual world to Putana, who had come to kill him. Who can be more merciful than he? Just hearing this verse, he immediately started developing attraction for Krishna because he was at the ripe stage. He was Brahmavadi, but he heard the glories and boom, he came into Bhagavan realization. Similarly, the four Kumaras, they were also Brahmavadis. They're not Mayavadis. They understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, they came to the spiritual world. They know that spiritual world is there. But they were attracted to Brahman, said, we are not so advanced yet. But when they were having this altercation with Jai Vijay, that's when Vishnu understood. He came running to save his servants to the door of Vaikuntha. And that's when the fragrance of Tulsi leaf on the lotus feet of the Lord, that fragrance entered into the nostrils of the four Kumaras. And lo and behold, they became, from Brahmavadis, they became Bhakta, devotees. But Mayavadi Bhashya Sunile Hay Sarvanash, that our spiritual life would be destroyed. So Srila Prabhupada continues, these neophyte worshippers that Prabhupada is saying is mostly Brahmavadis. Mayavadis are even below neophyte worshippers. But for them, the material Virat Rupa is presented, and it'll be explained in the second canto. In Virat Rupa, the material manifestations of different planets have been conceived as his legs, his hands, etc. Actually, all such descriptions are for the neophytes, because the neophytes cannot conceive anything beyond matter. So the material conception of the Lord is not counted in the list of his factual forms. So here Srila Prabhupada is explaining about how this Virat form is imaginary, and we cannot do anything without the assistance of the Lord. We cannot even lift the hand. You can say, but I can lift my hands. Yes, when I lifted my hand, all I did was simply desired to lift my hand. And then the Paramatma within the heart actually has enabled to my hand to be lifted. I don't know what is the blood pressure that has to go up so that I can lift my hand, and what is the, what movement happens here. I don't actually do it. If suppose someone's karma does not allow it, that person may not be even able to lift their hand. If the hand is paralyzed based on whatever karmic reactions are there, even if a person's soul desires to lift the hand, the Paramatma does not allow. So we cannot do anything. All the soul can do is desire. But the time difference between our desire and that act is so instantaneous, it looks like I'm doing it. Kartaham iti manyate. We think I am the doer. But if Krishna wants, he can just, boom, stop something, and then we won't be able to do anything. Every thought that we think first is sanctioned by the Lord. So therefore, we should understand and meditate on how much we are dependent on the Lord. Then we will understand. One time, there is this eternal argument between a devotee and a Mayavadi, or impersonalist. A Mayavadi says, Dasosmi. He went and he said, that is, the Mayavadi, he came and wrote on the board, Soham. Soham means Sa Aham. I am that. I am that impersonal Brahman. Soham. So the devotee came and he wrote on the board, he just put a Da in front of Soham. And it became Dasoham. Devotee says, I'm not Soham, I am the servant. So then this Mayavadi says, Dasoham, I'll show you. He comes and puts a Sa in front of Dasoham. And it becomes Sada Soham. I am eternally that impersonal Brahman. The devotee says, no problem. He comes and puts a Da in front of that. And it becomes Dasa Dasoham. I am the servant of the servant of the servant. So this argument continues. He puts Sada Sada Soham. And the devotee says, no, Dasa Dasa Dasoham. So this argument will continue. We have to understand what is the purport that Krishna wants us to understand. One time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his congregation, there was a devotee called Mukunda. This Mukunda would sing very, very sweet kirtans. And one day, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving his Mahaprakash Leela, he was giving mercy to everyone. He was calling devotees and saying, giving his mercy to them. But he did not call Mukunda. And all the devotees were more excited seeing other devotees getting mercy in this Mahaprakash Leela. That is the essence of Mahaprakash Leela. That how the devotees, more than them getting mercy, they were actually happy that others are getting mercy. That is the test of a devotee. And so they were thinking, everyone's getting mercy, so wonderful, but where is Mukunda? Why is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not calling Mukunda? He sings so beautifully. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dances in his kirtan, but he's not calling. In fact, it is said that if someone gets mercy, if some devotee gets mercy, Krishna sees within our hearts. Are we happy for that devotee? Or are we thinking, oh, I know this devotee. Why this devotee did this and did that? He does not deserve the mercy. I am better than him or her. I should receive the mercy. If we think like that, we will never receive the mercy. But if we are happy for the devotee genuinely, then we will receive the same mercy that devotee is receiving. This is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. We don't have to do anything. We just have to be happy for another devotee who is doing great things, who is getting mercy. Just by being happy for the other devotee, we'll make spiritual advancements. But it's not such an easy thing. But we should be sincere. If we are identifying that we are having some kind of a enviousness towards another devotee who is receiving greater mercy, we think he does not deserve it, but he gets it. That's the meaning of mercy. Mercy means something that we do not deserve. So of course, someone who's getting mercy, they're not deserving. But if we are identifying some envy, we must be sincere in praying to Krishna that I want to be happy for this devotee. Please help me to be happy for this devotee. Then Krishna will understand we are sincere. And then he will reciprocate and we'll receive the same mercy. Sincerity in Krishna consciousness is the key. And so all devotees were genuinely thinking, why is Mukunda? Why is he not summoning Mukunda? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I'm not calling Mukunda because he pays obeisances to me and then he gets up and hits me on the head. And everyone, what? Mukunda has never done this kind of an offense. No, Mukunda, he comes here and he sings and he participates in the kirtan here, but then he goes and listens to the Mayavadis as well. Listening to the Mayavadis is like hitting me on the head. So what is the use? So then all the devotees, they go, Mukunda is standing outside, they go and they ask Mukunda, they tell Mukunda that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying like this. So Mukunda said, okay, please, if you can ask him, when will I get mercy? So all the devotees went to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, he's asking, when can he get your mercy? Mahaprabhu said, he will have to wait 10 million lifetimes. So all devotees were shocked. 10 million lifetimes? That's so far, so long. But anyway, everyone went and Mukunda said, did you ask him? What did he say? Everyone dejectedly said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, 10 million lifetimes. And Mukunda, 10 million lifetimes, I will receive the mercy. And he was jumping and dancing. He said, I thought I will never receive the mercy, but I will receive sometime after 10 million births. This is totally worth it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. I'm willing to wait for that. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Paramatma in everyone's heart. He understood the patience and the gratitude of Mukunda. And he immediately called Mukunda. And he put his head on Mukunda, his legs on lotus feet on Mukunda's head. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. So this explains how much it hurts Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, when we hear from Mayavadis. But also it gives, if we are committing that offense, which all of you devotees are not, but if someone is, then Mukunda, he gave an example. He was simply grateful for whatever mercy Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives. And when we are grateful for something, then Krishna reciprocates with that gratitude. He could have said, 10 million? I have been serving for every day in, day out. I've been singing kirtans and everyone loves my kirtans. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 10 million lifetimes. Look at this Dukhi Krishna. Look at this devotee, that devotee. Everyone got mercy and I should get 10 million lifetimes? Forget it. I'm leaving this movement. He could have said like that. But he was very, very grateful for whatever mercy that he was getting. And therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called him back. So, in this way, we understand that Mayavadi Bhashya Sunile Hoy Sarvanash. This is the time when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that. On the other hand, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was the leader of the Mayavadis. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri, he was the head priest. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was head priest of Lord Jagannath's temple. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just paid obeisances to Lord Jagannath, he got unconscious in front of Lord Jagannath. That's when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, from his house, there was a secret tunnel that would go directly into the deity room of Lord Jagannath. Imagine such a great position he had. But he was a Mayavadi. He was very learned in all the Shastras. But then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, when he heard that, he immediately came into the altar with all the Pandas also came in, and they, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, looking at this sannyasi, he said, just gently pick him up and bring him to my house. And then everyone, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was at Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. And for a long time, he was staying there. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, I am so detached from everything in this material world, but looking at you, I just get such attraction. You are so beautiful. How will you be able to maintain your sannyas? You must understand Vedanta. With that knowledge, you will be able to maintain. And so for 7 days and 7 nights, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya taught Vedanta to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very quiet, very respectfully listening everything that he was saying. And then at the end of 7 days, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, I have spoken so many things of Vedanta, and you have been just quiet. That means 2 things. Either you have understood everything, or you have not understood anything. Which one is it? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, well, to me, all the purports of the Vedas are very clear. But what you explained is like a cloud in front of the sun. So you are putting your interpretations to the Vedanta. And in this way, Sri Chaitanya Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was shocked. How can someone say like that? And then there was conversations where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave multiple explanations of the Atmaram verse and explained the actual understanding of Vedanta. And hearing this, Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he completely transformed. And he became a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then when he was reading Srimad Bhagavatam, he came to the verse in 10th canto where Lord Brahma is praying to Krishna. Tatte nukampa susamikshamano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam ritvakva purbhir vidadhan namaste jivet yo mukti pade sadayabha. One who with his mind, heart, and words expresses gratitude even when a person is going through miseries, that person is the right heir. He has the rightful claim to mukti. Mukti pade sadaiva. And when Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya read this, he crossed the word mukti and changed it to bhakti in his copy. And he went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Look, I don't agree with this verse. One who expresses his gratitude even when they are going through suffering and misery, that person should be bhakti pade. They should have the rightful claim to bhakti. Why does it say mukti? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed. He said, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, a few days ago, you were saying mukti is the ultimate goal. And now you're saying bhakti? You're crossing mukti? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, yes, after my transformation, I hate this word mukti. This mukti has nothing compared to the rasa of bhakti. And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. And he said, that is correct, but we should not change the scriptures. Sri Lord Brahma said, Mukti Pade Sadaibhak. We should understand the meaning behind mukti. There are 5 kinds of mukti. There is Sarupya Mukti, Samipya Mukti, Salokya Mukti, Sarishti, all these different kinds of mukti. But bhakti is the highest kind of mukti. And so Mukti Pade Sadaibhak, Lord Brahma means bhakti. So we can see what kind of transformation. He was a Mayavadi. Not even a Brahmavadi, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Mayavadis can be transformed simply by mercy of a devotee or mercy of the Lord himself. So Srila Prabhupada converted so many Mayavadis. One time Srila Prabhupada was going in a train with, and in the train with some of his disciples, and a Mayavadi guru was sitting next to Srila Prabhupada in front of him. And his disciples of that guru said, this is such and such guru. And Srila Prabhupada said, what is your philosophy? And the guru said, the philosophy is, I am God, you are God, everyone is God. And Prabhupada said, no, we are godly, we are not God, we are servants of God. He says, no, we are God. It's just that we don't, it's just that we have forgotten that we are God. So Prabhupada said, how can God forget who he is? Then forgetfulness is greater than God. He said, no, 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 we are. So then this Mayavadi had a toothache. So Prabhupada said, if you are God, how can you have toothache? So he said, oh, this is my Leela. That suffering is my Leela. Actually, I am God. So then after some time, the Mayavadi God wanted to go to the restroom, and Prabhupada stopped him. No, you will not go to the restroom. The Mayavadi said, no, how can you stop me? I need to go. He says, no, you are God. You are the supreme controller. If you are the supreme controller, you can control your urges, the call of nature. And the Mayavadi said, no, he stayed for some time and he said, you know what, I really have to go. Please. Prabhupada said, then accept that you are not God. Then I'll let you go. He said, okay, I'm not God, I'm not God. And then he went and Prabhupada left him. So in this way, we understand that Krishna has a form and he has a formless aspect as well. It doesn't mean that Krishna does not have any formless aspect. For God to be complete, he has to have a form as well as a formless aspect. If we say, oh, God does not have a formless aspect, that means God does not have something. That means he's not complete. So some people say God is only form. That is also incorrect. He has a form, but he has a formless aspect. That formless aspect, that Brahman, source of that Brahman is the form of Krishna, as it explains in Ishopanishad. So in this way, we can understand how Krishna, how this Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan is understood. Srila Prabhupada one time explained, it's like when you go to a train station, he explained Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. When we go to a train station, if suppose someone does not know what is a train, the train will come and he only sees some light coming. And someone tells him, oh, that is the train. So he thinks, oh, train means light. Then as the train approaches the station, he sees, oh, it's not just light. I can see the engine. I can see some bogies behind it. It has some form. So his realization of the train improves. And then when the train comes to the station, he sees, whoa, this train is not just light, not just the engine and the bogies, but there are people inside it who are coming out into the station and going from the station into the train. And now he gets a full picture of what a train is. Similarly, Brahman is the partial realization of Supreme God. It's like someone thinking train is just light. So you think Brahman is just light or God is just light. Then when someone advances in their realization of God, they understand he's not just light, he also has a form, that is Paramatma realization. And as they grow higher, advanced higher, they understand that, oh, it's not just light and form, but also there is a loving reciprocation that can happen. And then he has a full understanding of Bhagavan. So Krishna has a form and he lovingly reciprocates with his devotees as well. So we'll end with one pastime where one time Srimati Radharani was where we can understand how Krishna reciprocates with his devotee and devotees and how he has this Bhagavan realization, is reciprocation of love. Srimati Radharani was upset with Krishna because he came late and he had done many other things. So whenever she would be upset, she would go onto the Man Parvat. Man means Radharani is not happy with Krishna. So she would go in Barsana. There are 3 hilltops. One of them, 4 hilltops. One of them is Man Parvat, Mangar. And that's where Radharani went on top and sat. And Krishna came, he came late, so he couldn't see where Radharani is. And then he understood, oh, she must be at Mangar, at Man Parvat. So Krishna went there and there she was. Radharani was sitting on a rock. And Krishna came and he tried to cajole Radharani, and Radharani wouldn't even look at Krishna. If Krishna would come this way, she would turn the other way. And Krishna said, what should I do? What should I do? And just then, Krishna took his flute and he started playing a beautiful viraha melody. He closed his eyes and he started playing his wonderful flute, very, very intense separation melody. And just then, a peacock appeared on the scene on Mangar. And this peacock was swaying slowly, steadily, along with the tune of the melody of the flute. And then a second peacock came, and then a third. And then they flapped their wings and their fan, it became peacock fans. And they started dancing, all of them. Then 4 and 5, and there were hundreds of peacocks. They started, and Krishna, he increased the intensity of his tune more and more. And as he would increase the rhythm and the tune, they all started dancing, jumping, and swaying their wings and fans. Radharani, slowly, steadily, she was getting mesmerized with this whole atmosphere. This tune of melody of Krishna's flute and these peacocks dancing and this whole loving reciprocation. And then Krishna got up and he started dancing with these peacocks. And seeing this, there was a small smile that came on Srimati Radharani's lotus lips. And she got up and she started dancing. And both Radha and Krishna started dancing just like peacocks. They almost assumed the form of a peacock. And if you go to Mangar, you will see a temple where there is this picture of Radha and Krishna dancing as peacocks. And it went to a crescendo and the dance stopped. And Radharani was in Krishna's embrace. And that's when the leader of the peacocks, he came and took one peacock feather and offered it to Krishna as an expression of gratitude for giving this wonderful experience. And Krishna accepted that peacock feather and said, because you helped me in cajoling Srimati Radharani, making Srimati Radharani happy, as an expression of that gratitude, I will always adorn this peacock feather on my hair. Now, earlier, of course, we know when Krishna was very small, Shri Yashoda Mai would adorn him with peacock feather. But when he grew, he started, Krishna voluntarily accepted this peacock feather as the expression of gratitude to all the peacocks who helped make Srimati Radharani happy. So we can see that Krishna not only has form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not just have form, but he has this loving reciprocation. He's not a formless, without any attributes. So with this, we will end here, understanding that when we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Krishna is dancing on our lips, just like he was dancing with the peacocks. And when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, let's try to chant from our heart, not from our mind. Srila Prabhupada said, when you're chanting, one devotee asked Prabhupada, how do I control my mind when I'm chanting? Prabhupada said, you chant with your tongue, you hear with your ears. Where is the question of the mind? And the devotee said, yeah, that's true. There is no mind. What he meant is that we should not chant with our mind. We should chant with our heart, which means we should chant with feeling. We will see if we chant with feeling, we'll become absorbed in the chanting. Just like when we are in a cinema hall, if a movie can attract our emotions, captivate our emotions, we don't even know how 3 hours go by in the theater because it has captured the emotions. We are feeling something. Similarly, when we chant, if we chant with feeling, we won't even know. We'll become so absorbed. The secret of absorption is chanting with feeling. If we are not being absorbed, we are not chanting with feeling, we are chanting with our mind. We must chant with our heart. And then there is the question of the mind. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
If there are
Krishna.
any questions or comments, we can take now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you for giving your valuable association. We learned a lot from today's session, and the most valuable piece of advice, at least for me, and I'm pretty sure about everyone, is that we should be happy if other devotees receiving mercy from Krishna. Yeah, so we will also receive the same mercy, but more than that, we should be happy for others. So this is commendable, Prabhu, that from your busy schedule, you have taken out time for ICF and honored us with your presence. So very grateful to you and looking forward to hearing you speak again on this forum. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Now, I will ask that any devotee, if you have any question, I can see my Medavni Mataji is raising her hand. So yes, Medavni Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranams. Thank you for the very, very wonderful session as always. So Prabhu, I had two questions. So first of all, I can see Radha Madhav just behind you. I mean, it's so awesome. Very wonderful ambience. That was actually, taking away most of my attention. Very beautiful, Prabhu. Prabhu, my first question is the Vishwarupa form. It is said to be imaginary. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, actually, Prabhupada explains in the purport that Arjuna didn't want to see the universal form. But later on, when people try to justify themselves as gods, we should be able to ask them for the universal form. So that was the reason Arjuna asked Krishna for the universal form. But we also know that Bhagavatam is Galitam Phalam, right? It is the pure nectar. It is the, it is a juice which are drunk by self-realized souls. So I'm just wanting to understand, when Bhagavatam, it is said that it does not have, seeds or peel, etc. So why is there a need to mention about the universal form in Bhagavatam? So that's my first query. Prabhu, can I go and ask the other queries also, or would you like to take one by one?
No, please go ahead.
Okay, so that's my first query, Prabhu. Secondly, Prabhu, Shukadeva Goswami is said to be the parrot of Radharani, right? Shuka Mukhad Amrita Drava Samyutam. He says Bhagavatam became more sweet because Shukadeva Goswami uttered it. So how do we understand this point that Shukadeva Goswami was a Brahmavadi and he heard these words of, this Putana getting delivered and, getting a position as the, mother of, or foster mother, or, the daima of Krishna, and then he became a devotee. How do we understand that? Because Shuka is eternally the parrot of Radharani. That's the second query, Prabhu. And one more query, Prabhu. Since I'm getting the opportunity, let me make the most of it. The third query is, Prabhu, you said we need to chant with feeling, right? But generally, for myself, I can say that, I chant because I've told my spiritual master I'll be chanting 16 rounds, and one round we chant for, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Srila Guru Maharaj, because Guru Maharaj himself mercifully gives us that opportunity. You do extra parikrama for me, you do chant extra rounds for me. In that way, Guru Maharaj also encourages us. So we do what we are told because we are told, and nothing more than that. So when you're saying chanting with feeling, how do we develop that feeling, Prabhu? Because when we are doing kirtan, when we are singing bhajans, the feeling comes because of probably the lyrics or the words. We know the meaning of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Oh Krishna, engage me in your service. But there is no feeling that comes when we chant Hare Krishna. At least for me, I can say that. So if you can just kindly enlighten me on these three queries, Prabhu, I'm very grateful to you. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranams.
Sure. You might have to remind me all the questions, but wonderful questions. I believe the first question, can you remind me again? That why is it necessary in Srimad Bhagavatam to speak about the universal form? Yes, very nice. Here, if you see Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna actually, if we go by this understanding that it is for the purest of devotees, then really we don't need the first 9 cantos. Shri Shukadeva Goswami, he could have directly gone to the 10th canto, and that's where the whole thing is. But Prabhupada explains that many people say God is great, but they don't know how great is he. And so Shukadeva Goswami, he is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, who has 7 days, and he has to explain everything to him before coming to the 10th canto, where he's explaining the intimate pastimes of Krishna. He wanted to establish how great Krishna is. That's why he's telling about the universal creation of the universe, And someone will think, why a devotee needs to know Jambu Dvipa and this and that? Ultimately, we have to just chant Hare Krishna and serve Krishna. Why can't he just say serve Krishna? Because he's taking the mind through Parikshit Maharaj, he's preaching to us as well. But even to Parikshit Maharaj, he's explaining, look, this is how great God is. Once we understand the greatness, how great God is, then when we hear, oh, Krishna, he was having buttermilk in his mouth, and Sudama just punched his face, and all the buttermilk came out. That made Brahma bewildered. If Shukadev Goswami directly comes to 10th canto, we hear that, we'll be bewildered as well. Parikshit Maharaj may also be bewildered. But when you understand, oh, this small boy, he is the source of all this whole creation, this universal form which is imaginary, this is that small boy's creation. Then we understand, oh, he's great. Then we can actually appreciate Krishna's pastimes. Otherwise, we'll take it for granted. So that is the reason why Shukadev Goswami had to build up this whole 9 cantos in different ways, different incarnations, universe, hellish planets, and all of these things. It was not needed, but it's needed for our mind to understand how great it is. For example, Prabhupada said, if Gandhiji, someone looks at Gandhi, he does not know who is Gandhi, then they might just say, oh, he's just a beggar with no clothes, roaming around with a stick. What's the big deal? But when they understand, oh, what he has actually, his background is, what he has done, all these different things, then we can appreciate, oh yeah, even after doing all this, he's living in an austere condition. That is his greatness. So similarly, that's the response to the first question. Secondly, why Shukadev Goswami, how can he be Brahmavadi when he was a parrot in the spiritual world? So yes, that is a valid question. He was, the only purpose of Shukadev Goswami in his life he wants to do is glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was playing the part of a Brahmavadi so that Bhagavatam can be glorified. That look, this is the effect of Bhagavatam. That Brahmavadis can be upgraded just by listening to this one verse. So which means that Srimad Bhagavatam is always there. It's not like when Shukadev Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj, that was the first time. How did Shukadev Goswami know? Because of Srila Vyasadeva. And how did these village farmers know about this verse? That means Srimad Bhagavatam was always prevalent, and Shukadev Goswami, by his own example, wants to show that, look, even a Brahmavadi can transcend to Bhakta. So that is second. Third, chanting with feeling. So yes, that is correct. We chant, we are not at the level where we can experience the love of God as soon as we start chanting. Many times our mind comes and says, no, sleep today, you can chant later. If you're not able to finish 16 rounds, tomorrow you can make it up. And so many excuses it gives because we don't have the taste for chanting. And that is one of the reasons why when we chant, we pray, please grant me the taste for chanting your holy names for your pleasure. And we are doing this just to please our Guru Maharajas, at least in the beginning. But the goal is that why the Guru will be pleased. The goal is to please Krishna. The goal is to, by our chanting, goal is to please Krishna by our chanting, please Guru by our chanting. And Guru will be pleased, yes, if you fulfill your vow, he will definitely be pleased, but that is just pass. If you want to please him more, he will be pleased when he sees you advancing and chanting with feeling. Do you think he'll be pleased with you just chanting, looking here and there without any taste, or he'll be pleased when... So even though we don't have the taste, even though we don't have the feeling, We may not have 100% of love of God, but maybe 0.1% somewhere. That is why we are in Krishna consciousness. Something we are experienced. Use that 0.1% feeling and chant. Rather than just mechanically chanting, whatever little feeling, then that will increase. That will please Krishna. Krishna will give more. Of course, he'll give many tests before that. But still, whatever little we have, we use that feeling and chant. And then slowly, slowly, by mercy, it will improve. But if we want absorption in chanting, we have to chant with feeling. Otherwise, we will not be absorbed. Our mind will just keep going here and there.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I have another question, but we'll take the questions of other devotees. If there's time, then I'll ask in the end. Right.
Suma Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, and Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Prabhuji. We are all so fortunate that we got your association, even Makala Sudha Mataji's also. We can remember it each and every moment, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, my question is that it's been sincere since 3 years I'm connected with ISKCON. So I have not developed any taste for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hearing Leelas or anything, Prabhuji. So I have a doubt that maybe just like how you narrated the story of Mukunda. So is it like that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not merciful on me? Because I'm so much attracted to like the impersonal form of the Lord. Even still, I rather than Lord, even I like Krishna's form also, personal form also, but I enjoy more when it rains, the clouds and everything, each and everything that I see around. So is it because of that, Prabhuji? That is my one question, Prabhuji. Like, and the other question is that today being Ganesh Chaturthi, my daughter wants to celebrate that. So I'm not at all having any, I'm not at all able to do anything, Prabhuji, for Ganesha, and I am not having any taste for that. So when we offer it, but I have to do it for her. But when I prepare the bhoga, I have to offer it to the Supreme Lord first and then to Lord Ganesha. So when I do that, for Krishna won't take it without Tulsi leaf. But Tulsi, anything offered with Tulsi leaf can't be offered to Ganesha, Lord Ganesha also. So how can I solve this problem, Prabhuji? Like, it would be nice if you help me.
Okay, sure. Well, the first thing you said about, you said you are attracted to the impersonal form of the Lord, not the form of the Lord. Can you explain a little bit more?
Yes, Prabhuji, like all these forms are for those neophyte devotees. They say, I'm a neophyte devotee only, but I'm not saying that. I like Krishna's form also, personal form also. I worship that also. But along with that, I have more taste for this. Whenever I see anything around me, Prabhuji, I just feel that it is sun rays, like mountains or anything. So I just worship it that way. So is it wrong, Prabhuji? So
that's not wrong. You mean you see the beauty of the nature, and then
yes,
if you see the beauty of the nature and you remember Krishna, that Krishna is the creator of this beautiful nature. If the nature is so beautiful, how much beautiful the source must be. And the source is Krishna. So how beautiful Krishna would be. If you always remember like that, you can appreciate the beauty of the nature, but also appreciate the beauty of the creator through the nature. Then everything is good. But if you appreciate the beauty of the nature without acknowledging the creator, that's where sometimes that doesn't improve our devotional service. But while enjoying the beauty of the nature, if you also acknowledge Krishna's beauty and appreciate how wonderful Krishna is, then that immediately becomes devotional service, bhakti. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. But not having any affection and attraction to Gauranga Mahaprabhu is like, sometimes it pricks, like why I'm not developing any taste for, even Chaitanya Charitamrita books are there, but I'm not at all getting any taste for reading it.
Okay, so meaning specifically Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
Yes, Prabhuji.
but you have faith in Krishna,
Yes, Prabhuji.
you have faith in Srimati Radharani,
Yes, Prabhuji.
you have faith that Krishna and Radharani combination is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? You're not
That I'm
sure
not
about
at
that.
all. Yes.
Okay, okay. That's okay. You, as long as you are serving devotees, as long as you are serving Guru and devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, slowly, slowly you will, Lord Chaitanya will give you the faith. And especially if you try to spread Hare Krishna Mahamantra, tell your friends about the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that preaching attitude will be noticed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he will give you that taste and faith in him. Just if you spread the glories of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that will help. Second thing you can do is chant the Panchatattva mantra. Do you chant the Panchatattva mantra before chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Now I've
So,
started taking shelter of that, Prabhuji, because I don't have any taste. So I
yes,
do
so
that.
wonderful. In fact, one time, Sri Jayapadaka Maharaj said that before chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if you have time and if you're, especially for you, you can chant one round of the Panchatattva mantra. This will, as much as possible, chant the Panchatattva mantra. This will invoke attraction to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates.
Sure, Prabhuji.
So try that for some time and see how that works. Because Mahaprabhu has brought this Hare Krishna Mahamantra from the spiritual world. Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. So if you chant the Panchatattva mantra, take shelter, and assist in spreading the glories of the holy names of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you will receive the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
the fact that you are in the association of all the devotees, that itself is a mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But at least by doing this, you will develop more and more faith in Lord Chaitanya.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
And about your question about Lord Ganesh,
yes,
when
Prabhuji.
we take Krishna Prasad, there is Mahatulsi in it, and which we accept and honor as Mahaprasad from Krishna. Similarly, when we offer to Ganesh, when we offer the prasad of Krishna to Ganesh in a separate plate, then we can offer in that mood. So I'm not sure about why Tulsi is not offered to Ganesh, but since you are saying, I accept it. But typically, it is not offered to Ganesh when you are offering bhoga to him directly. But here you are not offering him direct bhoga. You are actually offering to Krishna, and Krishna Prasad you are offering. So Ganesha is accepting this prasad as a devotee of Krishna, because Ganesh is a great devotee of Krishna. He wrote the Mahabharata. He wrote the Bhagavad Gita with his one tooth, Ekadanta. That's because when he wanted to write Mahabharata, he broke half of his tusk, and he started writing Mahabharata while Vyasadeva was narrating it. And in Mahabharata, there is Bhagavad Gita. So he wrote the Bhagavad Gita as well. And when he wrote the Bhagavad Gita, in this pastime, when Vyasadeva was asking Ganesha to write Mahabharata, Ganesh said, yes, I will write Mahabharata, but my condition is that you will not make my hand stop. You will keep continuing. I don't want to wait for you to get some verses. You just keep speaking and I'll keep writing. So Vyasadeva said, okay, I will do that, but my condition also is there. My condition is you will not write anything that you do not accept or understand. So whenever Vyasadeva wanted some time to think, he would give some difficult verses which Ganeshji had to think about, and then he would write. Once he would think, accept it, then he would write. Which means when he wrote the Bhagavad Gita in Mahabharata, he accepted the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna says that Aham Bija Pradapita, I am the seed-giving father of all. I am the supreme personality of Godhead. Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. Ganesha understood it, accepted it, and then he wrote it. So Ganesha also accepts Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, and he will accept the prasad as a devotee of Krishna. And so there, if Tulsi is there, you can offer Tulsi to Krishna and then give the rest in another plate, take Mahaprasad and give to Ganesha. That
Sure.
way, if you, I feel you can still put Tulsi and offer, but if you still don't want to, you don't have to offer the Tulsi to Ganesha. You can take the prasad in a separate plate specific for Ganesha and offer him that prasad, Mahaprasad from Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, can we take a last question from Padma Mataji? Is it okay with you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Padma Mataji, yeah, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat pranam. Absolutely wonderful class, Prabhuji. I was just picturizing the entire thing. You know, when you spoke about the Mangar, I had been to Vrindavan. I could just visualize all the pictures, what has happened. I understood it very well. Only thing I want to know, Prabhuji, who was the person who gave Krishna the feather, peacock feather? I missed on that.
It was the leader of the peacocks who were dancing.
Okay.
So the leader came and just offered the peacock feather to Krishna as an expression of gratitude.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was a very nice story. Please come again for another session, Prabhuji. We'll really appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for
Hare Krishna.
allowing me to serve. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, Medavni Mataji. Yeah, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So we have about 5 minutes. So thank you, Narayani Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu. I just taking the opportunity to ask one more question, Prabhu. Prabhu, you mentioned about very beautifully about Aham Asmi, Daso Aham Asmi, right? So actually, when we want to feel in the mood of servant of the servant, it does not come, because naturally what comes is mercy means we don't deserve it. So we cannot think that, oh, somebody is getting the mercy, why am I not getting the mercy? That actually defeats the meaning of mercy, right? So Prabhu, how to develop that attitude? Because it is very difficult, even after, and even in we try to justify ourselves that, in Bhagavatam it mentions, Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana Sarver Gunestatra Samasate Sura. We just chant Hare Krishna nicely, we practice devotional service, automatically we will get humility, automatically we will get patience. Because for me, I can say that enthusiasm, at least, little bit by God's grace is there. But humility and patience, zero, negative, completely negative line. So at least to come to the point of zero, I don't know whether we have to especially endeavor, because I've been asking a couple of speakers, they all say, fake it till you make it. That's what one person told me. After long this thing, I'm not able to develop humility. Then he's saying, fake it till you make it. And and actually I asked Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj, actually, when he came to Juhu temple in Mumbai. So he gave me some conditions, right? When you fake it till you make it, but don't fake so much that you yourself think that you made it. He gave me some conditions, how I can develop. But somehow, Prabhu, it's so difficult to be humble. Like Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is very simple, but to be simple is very, very difficult. It's complicated to be simple, at least for, modern society. So I think humility is natural. I've heard so many classes always Radhanath Maharaj says humility is honesty. If you know Krishna, how great Krishna is, humility is natural. But somehow, everything is there in the head, Prabhu, but the humility is not coming to the heart. There's no humility. There is no patience. Sometimes, oh, I've worked so hard. Oh, why did it not come? Why didn't so many devotees attend the program? It is like that controllership mentality is like so ingrained in the heart that, I'm not able to find a way to uproot it, Prabhu. If you can just give some suggestions, some advice about developing humility and patience, Prabhu. Typically, I'm very much in need of it, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. No, that is a wonderful question. One time, of course, this fake it till you make it comes where Srila Prabhupada, one devotee was in the kirtan, and he told Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, all these devotees are dancing so enthusiastically, but I'm not getting that enthusiasm, same enthusiasm. What can I do? Then Prabhupada said, act enthusiastic. If you act enthusiastic, then real enthusiasm will come. But as you said, as Maharaj said, that there is a condition. That's true. We must, so similarly for humility and patience, act humble, act patient, and patience will come. But that act is to demonstrate to Krishna. That act is a prayer to Krishna. That Krishna, look, I want to be humble. But that humility is, I'm not humble. Humility is not coming from my heart. But to demonstrate to you my sincerity, I'm acting humble. It is not to show off to other devotees that we act humble. We act humble to demonstrate our sincerity to Krishna. It is not from my heart, but I'm acting, I'm still going against my mind. And my mind is telling, be arrogant, be proud. But I am acting humble with this. Please accept this as my expression of my sincerity and give me real humility. Because humility, patience, tolerance, these are the qualities of the soul. These are the natural qualities of the soul, which are currently covered by so many different coverings. So yes, it is true. If we chant Hare Krishna, all those coverings will be purified. Once that's done, the natural quality of the soul comes out, which is Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. This is the quality of the soul. But until then, we have to act humble to demonstrate to Krishna. Then Krishna will know, okay, this person is really sincere. They really want to be humble. They really want humility. And Krishna will purify our minds to award humility. That humility has to be revealed from within our soul. And that only Krishna can do. We can try as much as we want to remove the covering. It won't happen. All we can do is act. But act not to show off to others, look how humble I am. Then we are proud that we are humble. That is not humility again. But that act, we are acting humble to show Krishna that, please, Krishna, I don't have real humility. I'm sincerely trying to be humble. Please give me real humility. And that's why a lot of, in our bhakti, a lot of things are that we have to act it out. Not just, bhakti is not just a feeling, but bhakti is devotional service. Prabhupada translated it as devotional service. That means there has to be some action. It may not come from the heart right now, but that action will convince Krishna that yes, they really want it. Because bhakti is all about convincing Krishna that you really, really want it. If Krishna feels that you really want it, he'll give you immediately. He can give us right now in a moment. It's just that he's still not convinced that we may say, I want it, but then he will test us. And then he'll say, no, I didn't want to be so humble. He may give humiliating situations. He may put us in some situations where we'll be humiliated by the rest of the people. And then we'll be like, whoa, 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 not this much humble, please give me. So Krishna has to be convinced that do you really want that humility? And if we really, really want that and express it through our actions, he will arrange that situation.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I seek your blessings, Prabhu, because Krishna's mercy flows through his devotees. Seek your blessings that I may one day develop these qualities that may make me a better devotee. Thank you very much. Wonderful session, wonderful answers. And I thank Narayani Mataji also for the opportunity to ask not 1, 2, 3, but 4 questions. Very, very grateful to the entire ICF forum. Hari Bol. Hare
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Outstanding answers. I wish, Prabhu, that one day you and Mataji will both sit on a Zoom session and we can just have question and answer session, because really your answers are so practical, and at the same time through the Shastras, it's wonderful just hearing this, Prabhu. So I do not have to ask any question because Matajis are asking and I'm just taking the nectar. So thank you so much. So Prabhu, here we will end the session, and I know it's very late for you. So we'll just do Pranam, Vaishnav Pranam Mantra and end the session. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। कृष्ण वृंद की
श्रील
जय।
प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
थैंक यू प्रभुजी।
प्रभानंदे वंदे निताय। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, प्रणाम प्रभु।
धन्यवाद, प्रणाम।
Chandra Prabhu ki
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Please come again, Prabhuji, for another class.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. I will. Thank you for
Shall I
allowing
end the
me to
session, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank